Villain Theory here, and we're back already talking about Echo. Now, I stand by everything in my previous video about her, go check that out if you haven't, but it's a couple of things I missed, and some of them are pretty big, and I couldn't not talk about them. Like, if anyone relies on my channel for information, like, you would be missing out on some really cool stuff, I think. So Echo's our new character that's upcoming in the Fear No Evil box. She's got a response that's her basically tuck aspect and basic events that she or other players, play, tuck them under her. Photographic Reflexes is an event she has many copies of that then lets you play them tucked beneath you. So she kind of like doubles into events. She has a discount on them. She can do some combos. She can kind of like hold things for the right moment. A very versatile event-heavy character. But here's the thing. Her first card in her 15 signature cards, Daredevil, is number 1 of 15. Okay, this is fine, but that's not the earning number on the bottom of the cards. So let me zoom in. We have on the right for Daredevil, who's 1 of 15, the number 39 below that. And on the left, this is at the bottom of Echo's identity card, the number 37. And it's 37A, 37B is the alter ego side. But we have cards 37 and 39. Where is card 38? Normally you have the identity card, then the signature cards, and the first signature card is, the first one. So in theory, Daredevil should be number 38. There is a missing card. Normally when I do my deep dives on new previewed characters, I always count the cards. And this is the one time I didn't, I forgot. It's been a long time since I've done this. I've not been doing many videos lately. But thankfully, amazing community member, Drax with a Sax, great name, they said, did you notice, like, where is card 38? What's going on here? And I was kind of stumped by this. Is it a misprint? That was my first thought. Does she have a second identity card that she can like swap between or choose at the start of the game or something? I thought that sounded really cool. A lot of us theorized for Falcon, maybe there'd be a Captain America identity card and a Falcon identity card because Sam Wilson can, have both of those roles, historically in the comics, that was not the case. Could that be here with Echo? Well, I don't think so. The more I thought about it, the more I think it must be a permanent setup card that does not sit within her 15 signature cards. Normally, cards like that are counted within the 15, or sometimes that makes it 16, signature cards. But Fantasy Flight Games have changed the way these cards are. Basically, if a card isn't meant to be shuffled into your deck, it has a different card back now. And maybe because of that, they don't think it needs to be counted. Normally, they count it separately. I'm very suspicious that Echo has a permanent setup card to start some play that we haven't seen yet. And I have a theory about what this is. I'm going to hold off with that theory until later in the video because it ties into something else I've been thinking about, but I'm very intrigued. And I know some people have been like, okay, copying aspect events is like fine, but aspect events aren't as good as signature identity specific events normally. What else has she got? Maybe this is it. I am super intrigued. So we'll come back to this later, but I needed to point this out. Just to do the full card count because I forgot it before. This is what it's looking like. Daredevil signature ally, then a ton of photographic reflexes. And Wasteland Sniper pointed out to me, looks like they're going to have different resources or different art. I think different resources. You guys are really doing a deeper dive than I did, which I'm grateful for, but I do feel a little bit bad. Could have waited getting the video out, but I know you guys like my reactions with Nelson, and he's not around at the moment, so I was like, we'll do this quickly. I was pretty excited. She's got definitely 1 copy of Study the Tape, possibly 2. There are at least 2 cards missing between the first copy of Study the Tape and American Sign Language. Then between American Sign Language and Improvisation, her upgrades, we have 2 missing cards, and since the cards above and below these missing cards are upgrades, these are going to be upgrades. Probably her swords, or at least one of them will represent maybe both her swords, something like that. And 15 remains a mystery. Still no clues as to missing card number 38. Now coming to my rescue again in the comments, you guys, Estrada specifically, they said, I think it would be fun to play Echo alongside Spider-Woman since a lot of Spider-Woman's hero cards are also aspect cards. I completely missed this. I knew she could only tuck basic and aspect cards, so I kind of dismissed looking at any heroes. But oh my goodness, Echo is going to be able to tuck pheromones after Spider-Woman plays it, or Venom Blast. Don't ask me how Echo is shooting out a Venom Blast. Maybe she's got some kind of like technology that can mimic these things. She's prepared for this. Who knows? Something else that came up a few times on Discord and in the comments of my last video was Echo's solo viability in certain aspects. So let's take aggression as the main one here. Yeah, you can build attacks into the deck, but aggression not got great threat removal. And since Echo doesn't have any of her own threat removal events, she has to really like photographic reflexes, copy everything to do anything. Aggression without any signature threat removal is looking kind of rough. Now, there are a couple of things I want to point out here. Not every hero has to be viable in every aspect. A lot of them definitely have certain pulls to different ways. Maybe Echo just isn't going to be super good in aggression and solo play. I think justice, leadership, protection, you're going to be able to find enough of what you need for them to be viable. Some might be better than others, but definitely very good. Aggression, yeah, threat removal situation looks rough. However, aggression and solo play can rush, and Echo doesn't have any forwarding or defense, any slow kind of events slowing her down. She just has copies of her aspect cards in the form of photographic reflexes. So if we put in a bunch of aggression attack events, maybe Echo could be pretty good at rushing. I think this is maybe fun to explore. I can use my Alter Ego ability to grab a really good attack event on turn 1, play that, then maybe copy it immediately with a discount. But I still think she's going to be pretty good at a regular play speed in the other aspects in solo, even if she shines brighter in multiplayer. It's on that note, in solo again, I wanted to talk about her Alter Ego ability, and we'll actually talk about this a little bit in multiplayer too and what it costs her. Because in multiplayer, if you go Alter Ego, sure, you're Alter Ego, whatever, but now you can't use your hero side response, watch and learn, where you get to attack events. So if I go Alter Ego, and then a couple players have their turn, then the next round begins, someone else has their turn, and finally it comes back around to me. Every time those other players have had their turn, I haven't been able to attack their events, whereas if I'd stayed in hero form, I would have been able to do that. So in multiplayer, going Alter Ego, there's kind of an opportunity cost there in terms of being able to attack events people play. In solo play, you only attack your own events, obviously. So there's no real downside to going Alter Ego. But there is an upside, because when you go back to hero form, you get to search your deck for the perfect event for the situation, add it to your hand. So not only do you get that extra card every other turn if you keep going Alter Ego, but in solo play, where you have to do everything yourself, you'll be more easily able to find the right answer at the right time. Which makes me think in solo play, more than multiplayer, Echo could want to go Alter Ego a lot. In multiplayer, she could still do it, but she is less inclined to for other reasons. I think that's a really interesting twist, where a character actually wants to go Alter Ego more in solo than multiplayer. Multiplayer is normally where it's easier to go Alter Ego, but here, Echo gets pretty good benefits for doing it in solo play. So I feel like a lot of my decks might be looking into, finding some more reliable ways to do that safely in solo, because it can be a bit risky. And then this brings me to my final point, and we're finally going back to my theory on what I think that missing card could be. But how I got there is by looking at the aspect cards she comes with. She comes with this new kind of lone wolf, if you have allies in play, your stuff is more expensive or doesn't work archetype. We see 3 cards that play into that, and then we have Get Their Attention at the end. It's a 2-cost event that, when an enemy initiates an attack, removes 3 threat from a scheme, also counts as defense and thwarting. Now I'm looking at Army of 1, and I'm like, why does this 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense hero, very kind of average stats, have a Radiant card in the hero phase? Readying to do 2 damage or 2 threat removal, it's flexible, but it's not really that efficient. Then she's got In Harm's Way, which is based on your defense stat, and she has a defense stat of 2. I'm like, why does she have this? Yes, Ronin can boost it up, so Ronin, it makes a bit of sense to have, a defense boosting aspect card and a card that runs off defense, but she only starts with 2 base defense, so it feels kind of weird to me to build heavily into the defense and have cards which rely off it. Not the craziest thing, but it raised some questions. And then there's Get Their Attention. And, if I have this card in my hand, I play it and I spend 2 resources on it, 3 cards are gone from my hand, and I've removed 3 threat. So I started to wonder, what if she had a setup/permanent card that starts in play that makes all of these cards make more sense? What if it boosted her stats based on what events she played? If she could boost her stats easily, maybe innately, Army of 1 makes so much sense. If she can boost her stats, In Harm's Way, running for defense stat, makes way more sense. And if it's based on events, maybe it's based on the type of event, to Get Their Attention, being defense and thwart traded, is even better for her. And that makes that card a lot better too. In my mind, to go back to Spider-Woman, funnily enough, she has an ability called Superhuman Agility, where when you play an aspect card, it boosts her stats. Well, what if Echo had this permanent card that said something like, when you play an attack event, boost your attack stat by 1. When you play a thwart traded card, boost your threat removal by 1, and so on. I don't know exactly the form this will take. I don't know if it'll be repeatable, limited, You know, maybe it'd be once or twice, I don't know. I think it'd be crazy if you play like 5 attacks and you get +5 to your attack. And this is just theoretical. She might not have anything like this. The missing card could just be a misprint, but I'm pretty convinced since they changed the card backs for cards which don't go into the deck, you know, it makes sense not to include it in the 15 because it's already like specially separated stuff. And I just can't fathom why she would have Army of 1 with 2, 2, and 2 basic stats. Now, it could be her sword upgrades or something, boost her stats a bit like Nightcrawler gets plus attack and plus defense from his cutlasses. And I think that could honestly happen anyway in addition to this, but there's something weird going on with Echo that we're missing, and this is my best guess. And I think if it isn't this is a really cool mechanic. I actually I want to play this, so if she doesn't have it, hopefully somebody does have that card which rewards certain type of events in the future. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're looking forward to Echo, because I am, and I'm really looking forward to Daredevil. So excited for this box, I decided I'm just going to cover it like the old days. So when Daredevil is previewed, I'll see you there. See ya.